Some of you subconsciously think because it's a year long, you got a year to do a deal. And guess what? It'll take you a motherfucking year. The record is 99 days. That's the modern era. The old era was 120 days. Pre-internet. In the old days, in the investment banking days, it took you 30 to 60 days to do due diligence and get a deal closed. Back in the old days, for a $100 million deal, which today is probably $250 million. Pre-internet. Today, it takes 60 to 90 days to get a deal done. With the internet. Why? Because this era has none of these, and they're afraid to make a decision. That manifests itself in too much analysis, but you're afraid to step up and be counted. So if you want to be CEO, or at least initially try to be CEO, but probably your one, two, or first or second or third acquisition, a la fingers crossed, you'll find a CEO with one of the acquisitions. But most of you, I mean, you said you don't know anything. What happens when you don't know anything about the industry? That's that's down deep inside, under your skin, all your worries. Because unless you go into an area you understand, you're not going to know shit, right? Right. And so but healthcare, you don't have to know shit. Governor Scott, God bless him, my former lawyer, soon to be Senator Rick Scott, didn't know shit about healthcare. Healthcare telco. Healthcare it is, after he doesn't like this part of the story. 3.5 Bloody Marys. He more or less denies that part. But I was there, okay? And he went into healthcare. And healthcare is it's hotter now than it was then. Because people like me don't want to die. We'll pay anything. I'm going to look at a stem cell deal in a couple weeks. Healthcare, and the lowest hanging fruit is assisted living, which I call euphemistically bedpans. 4 old ladies in a room with a bedpan under the fucking bed, because you don't want to take care of your parents. You kick them to the curb, and you can 1,300 or 1,800 pounds. $2,500 a month you can pay to have, I'm being sarcastic now, some fucking pervert assault your mother in a fucking arrest home. And that happens. And you're still going to put your mother in an arrest home. So don't act so fucking indignant. But assisted living bedpans. What did I tell you about handshake deals? They're not worth the toilet paper you wiped your butt with this morning. Now, a few guys like myself, and I've been privileged to have some handshake deals that have lasted over, 20, 25 years, but they were made 30 years ago. I still have a handshake deal with Bruce Whipple from 25 plus years ago, but 25 plus years ago. I don't have any handshake deals with anybody in the last 5 years that I can think of. Now somebody will remind me, maybe I have one, and they'll email me. And then, as I've said, till I'm blue in the face, then you got to run the fucking deals. And that's a whole horse of a different color. And that's when your board and a qualified CEO that knows how to do shit. For the most part, there's one or two of you that will be a CEO, but for the most part, the kids that come through the program aren't qualified, and they shouldn't be qualified, because when you're running the business, you're not out running and gunning. You can't run the thing as a CEO and make 50 acquisitions. It's very difficult. Now, some people have grown big enough, myself included, where you had acquisition teams. We've got 4, 5, 6 people that are, M&A people that you set up the parameters and they go find the deals. But you will still be primarily responsible for finding the money for the deals. But once you've done a bunch of deals, money's not the problem. They come to you with the money. And the biggest differentiation is they don't understand that there's only one moving part to a transaction, and that's the sales price. And the sales price from a motivated seller is better than a sales price from a non-motivated seller. And remember, 95% of all businesses that go for sale up year by year don't sell. They don't sell because everybody's trying to sell for more than it's worth, because they're trying to get rich off one transaction. And wealth and generational wealth is built on a series of transactions. It's that simple. And and we've been around now, second generation. Some of the guys, I'm now coaching their kids. Generational wealth, if everything falls into place, like Peter and a couple others, you can do it in 2 or 3 years. Once you get on a treadmill of, or not treadmill, the road of doing deals, I mean, they ask less and less questions. And that's why a lot of the companies get in trouble, because the directors get satiated. And some of these directors, they were talking about Wynn Corporation, the guy from Vegas, he's got some of the directors have been on there 30, 40 years, apparently, in their 80s. And he obviously keeps them there because they're loyal. And now with the new corporate governance, I mean, a director, they say the average CEO of a Fortune 1000 company lasts, I think, 6.5 years, call it 7 years. But the directors, or they're 20 years. So, I mean, the directors should be rolled every 4 or 5 years. But you're going to be out. By the time it's time to roll your directors, you'll be out. And then not all the directors are going to want to go on the second deal with you. You know, they make a few $1 million, that's it. They want to really, not do anything. Some of them will. The younger directors will want to go the second time around. Very few of the guys, when you get to a third time around, you're doing this 15 years, I mean, very few of the directors will still be there. Because, they've made enough money in their mind. They served their purpose. They supported you. They supported the shareholders. And so then you find new ones, which you can find easily. And you can find them a lot easier when you've done 10 years of deals. I mean, it won't be like you're building the first board. They'll be coming to your office. There's a great scene in the movie Cool Hand Luke with Paul Newman, and it's about a Louisiana chain gang. And the warden of the chain gang is standing up on a hill with 2 armed guards with guns, and the one armed guard, who was the real bad guy, had these sunglasses. And Paul Newman, who was a smart ass, he got caught. He caught it. I forget what he did. He did something. And he says, "What we have here," this is the warden standing up on the hill to Paul Newman, said, "What we have here is a lack of communication." Bam! Hits him with a 2x4 in the side of the fucking head, knocks him down this hill. Okay? What we have here is a lack of communication. Without selling, you can't make a sale unless you ask for the sale. And what did he say the first words out of his mouth? Toastmaster. Most of you aren't going to join Toastmaster. Not just you. I mean, I'm not making this shit up. Most of you couldn't give a blowjob away to a fucking sailor on a fucking deserted island. Yet you won't take Toastmaster. Everybody, and Dr. Joe said, Toastmaster, not as an observer, right? He said as a participant. You're all brain dead, don't you listen? Because you haven't had to learn how to convey your message. And it's not just conveying your message, you're selling yourself in the deal. The third one, they stuffed up their pantyhose and they went out there and they convinced the guy. Actually, there was more than one owner, but it's more complicated than that. But anyway, they convinced the guy. Now he's on the front page of fucking magazines. So he's gone from the shit house to the penthouse in 18 months. And rich.